I'm going to say a couple things that might offend some of you. Not racist bullshit. That shit don't come out my mouth these days. But I will talk about things that sometimes are controversial, and that is my own concept of a higher power. I have my own concept. And I have a couple great things that come with that. One of my great concepts with my higher powers, I don't give a rat's ass what your concept is. And that's not because mine's any better, because it's the same goddamn God, but it's got a different concept. But if I don't care what your concept is, then I don't have to fight with you about it. I really don't give a shit. Whatever makes you a better human being makes you a better human being. So I will talk about my concept. The other thing is, I will talk, and as I talk, I'll just start to curse. I mean, I'm from South Philly. I grew up in Philly. I'm just a Philly kid. And so when I start to just talk, I just start to go, and things will come out. So you guys are big boys and big girls, and so you can handle that shit. You're cool with it, I'm sure. But if not, I made my amends to you already, and if not, you can't handle it. Go fuck yourself. There's the door. Hopefully you don't, I'll stay, but you don't have to. You're not, if your teacher made you be here, your professor, I'll tell them that you were here the whole time. I don't care if you want to go or go. But that's the way I'm going to talk. I'm going to be as fucking real as they say, I guess. So look, born and raised in South Philly. Well, look, look at this. Let me tell you guys, I got here last night. I did not go to an after-hours club. No. I went to your local hospital. I had to be in your hospital for the night for some hockey injury thing. I'll talk about it later. So anyway, so born and raised in South Philly. Me and my mom were on welfare when I was a kid. No big deal. When I was a kid, I was a little embarrassed. My mom had rebelled from her Irish family, and to do that, she went and she had relationships with a Dago, which was my dad. He was this little Rocky Balboa lookalike guy who was this, drug dealing. He was the bad boy. My mom really liked the bad boys. My dad was the ultimate bad boy. He looked like Rocky Balboa, and he would rob you, and, if you owed him money, he'd break your face and help you up after he was done with you. And so that was my dad. So my mom really enjoyed that part of that, but when it came to trying to raise a kid, they both couldn't get sober, they couldn't stop using, and so my mom moved back to the Irish neighborhood with this little Dago kid in tow. So my last name was Frankie Bertolini. That was my last name when I moved back to the Irish neighborhood in South Philly, which wasn't good. So my mom changed my name, and I remember I was at Catholic school, and I'm writing up my name, and Sister Mary Agnes came over, and she was like, stop writing that name, and Bertolini is kind of a longer name. She goes, you start writing Meeink, and I knew that name because it's my other family name. And all I thought about, because I'm a kid, I thought, that's great, because it had a couple less letters. And I was like, that's cool, because I was just learning how to write. So I was like, I'm a lazy student, so I was like, thought it was awesome. But my dad and his family hated my last name was changed. So me and my mom go about life. Look, some of you might come from the same background I have. I'm not more of a thug or more urban than anybody else or anything. But we grew up, we were on food stamps. And my mom used to send me to the corner store. And the corner store in South Philly was like, just like around, everybody knows your business. And we're all, Irish down there, we're all Catholic. And I would go to the store and I would beg my mom, please don't give me the fake money. I used to call it fake money. Because it said food coupons, $10 food coupon, $5 food coupon. I hated going to the store with food stamps. My mom would always say, no, you use this for food. We use the real money for bills. That's for food. And I remember I had to go to the corner deli. And look, when you go in the corner deli and you have to pull out food stamps, because every time you pull out the booklet, what comes in the door every time? Every time, the freaking hottest girl in your neighborhood comes walking in. Q, which Susie Q is the same girl I was at confessional for that weekend, talking about how I looked up her dress. But I'm telling Grandma, I love Susie Q. And my grandma would say, Susie Q from 4th Street? I said, yeah, Susie Q from 4th Street. She goes, that's your third cousin from the boat, you incest bastard, don't touch her. You know what I mean? So we're all related down in that area. We all somehow have known each other from the boats of Ireland. So when I used to have to go home, I'd have to go right home. I couldn't hang out in the streets. I'd have to go right home, and my stepdad would always be waiting for me. So now here's where my life has become such hell at 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old. That's all the time I live with him. Here's where some of my story might change for some of y'all. My goal every day for 4 years of my life, 3 years, I'll say, 3 years of my life, very poignant parts of my life here, becoming a teenager in this way. Every day from school, I hope to get hit by a car. That's what I want. That's my goal. That's my dream, is that I want to get hit by a car. Because if I got hit by a car, because everyone in South Philly gets hit by cars. We live on the same small streets as Betsy Ross, but we just drive a lot faster than they did back then. So everyone gets run over by cars, and it's always your fucking cousin that runs you over. So I would always wait for like a small car, something that wasn't going to break me, but might bruise me, because I just wanted to go to the hospital. I did not want to go home. This is my goal every day, people. So I go out and get hit by his car, and when I go out to get hit by the car, there's something that we all have, and we all have it in this room. Almost every one of us, unless you are really technically insane, you don't. It's one of the things you don't have. It's self-preservation. And here's your test. Don't do it now, and don't do it on school hours. Do it when you're home or away, because you look like an idiot. So you grab your arm, and you just bite into your arm, right? As hard as you can. You grab, dig into that shit, right? As hard as you can. You won't be able to bite a hole in your arm. You won't be able to even draw blood. But your brain's telling you you're biting as hard as you can. Because if you grabbed your friend and you bit his arm with the same pressure you're biting yourself with, that you thought you're biting yourself with, you bite a hole right through his arm. Your brain constantly tells you to stop hurting yourself. It's called self-preservation. It's what makes you sane. It's like the guy that you see downtown and goes, whoa, 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 pancakes. Like, that's really crazy because he doesn't know that that's not acceptable to do that, right? We don't do that. Only people we have is people go around saying how crazy we are. I'm nuts. You have got a friend. You all had that friend in high school, right? Oh, I'm crazy. You always had that guy who would tell you how crazy he is. Trust me, he's the first friend that leaves you when you're getting jumped. He's always the first friend that gets knocked out in the fight, you know? But real sanity is like self-preservation. So whenever this car would come hit me, the one thing I haven't told you guys about me, but I'll tell you now, is I have the most unsexiest human being legs you'll ever see in your life. I mean, just do it. They're unsexy as hell. I can admit that. I'm super bow-legged. My two knees have never touched in my whole life. For 40 years, these two things have never touched. I can't even get them to touch, look. Because I'm so bow-legged, but I'm unbelievably fast. Always one of the fastest kids. So, these cars come to hit me, and what's my brain do every time? As soon as the car's about to hit me, right out of the way, every time. Every time, right out of the way. And I didn't want to do it. I wasn't fucking playing chicken here. I wanted to get hit by the car. And what do I think when I don't get hit by a car? What do we all think when we're that age? Well, I'm a fucking loser. What a loser. I'm such a loser. When I talk to kids nowadays, when I talk about how much they're a loser, everyone thinks I'm a loser. I'm like, no, they don't. No one even thinks about you. They think too busy think they're losers, you know? Because in this life, we're just, remember this. We're not much, but we're all we think about. I'm not much, but I'm all I think about. Because we're human beings. So when I go home and no one hits me in my car, I think I'm a loser. My stepdad one day was waiting for me. I didn't see him when I walked in. And there was this wall. When I first walked in my row homes, you know, there's this little wall, and it's the hallway, and you can go in and go into the living room, or you follow the hallway up and you go up to your bedrooms. So I would make the right to go into the living room because the TV was on, and I didn't see him, my stepdad, who was always home. Well, he was standing behind the wall where I couldn't see him. So when I popped my head in, he's standing like this. As soon as I popped my head in, he went, wow, and just caught me. And I started going out. He gripped me up and he started beating the shit out of me. Takes me up to my room. And I still have my book bag and stuff on, you know? So he's dragging me by my book bag. And when we get up to the room, he's trying to like uppercut me. And the shirt I had on, he now is starting to pull over my head like a hockey fight. So he's getting the shirt over my face. And I'm stuck like this. He grabs my lamp and he goes to go hit me with my lamp. And when I could see him through the bottom hole in my shirt like that. You know, I could see what he was doing. And when he went to go hit me, I kind of pulled back and I fell more, and when the lamp went by me, it was my lamp from my room. I can tell you right now, you are too young to remember this. I had an E.T. lamp, like fucking from the movie, like original E.T. fucking shit, you know, and I love this lamp. My aunt got me this lamp. So when that lamp went by me, as a kid, all I thought about was, God damn, I like that lamp. You know what I mean? Like, that's my favorite lamp. I mean, that's what I thought about, because I'm a freaking kid. I'm not thinking about survival. He tells my dad, he says, pack your shit, Frank, your mom don't want you no more, which he would love saying that to me. He loved telling me my mom didn't want me there no more. That's the type of person I'm dealing with as a kid. He says, pack your shit, you're going to move with your real dad. Now, I don't see my real dad much. I haven't seen him in a long time. This is being recorded, so I'll just, you know, he does illegal dealing sometimes, as was my dad's way of making income. So my dad does nothing to do with my life, and even when I moved in with him, he had nothing. But my dad lives up in Southwest, West Philly. So some of you might have heard of West Philly. There was a guy up there, got in a little bit of trouble, and his mom made him move to Bel Air. He wrote a whole rap song about it, and they made a movie, a TV show about it. So Fresh Prince lived up in that neighborhood, and his black ass moved out, and my white ass moved in right around the same time. And that was nothing nice, man. West Philly and Southwest Philly was nothing nice. I went to this place called Pepper Middle School. So my dad just puts me in a local school. Now, my dad's illegal dealings, but he's also on food stamps. I remember he always sent me a store of food stamps, but it was more acceptable that in the neighborhood. Like, everyone got WIC and everyone got accepted, you know. So I go to this Pepper Middle School. It's 900 students go to Pepper, 900. 20 of them are white males, 20, not 20%. 20 of us. And so I show up mid-school year. I'm a skateboarder. And I show up mid-school year, which already makes me stand out as being a new kid, let alone I'm the only white kid that's a skateboarder kid in the whole school. So I show up, and I noticed that things were a little different there. For one, just to give you an example, in the boys' rooms, maybe some of your schools did this, I don't know, they would take the doors off the shitters in the boys' rooms. So if you were a boy and you had to drop a deuce, I mean, you just didn't do it at school. It just was, you just didn't do it at school because you're very vulnerable in that situation. You know, you're like the gazelle at the watering hole. I mean, you're very vulnerable in that situation because there's no doors to protect you. So they used to do that. So if you were a boy, you just didn't go to, you would wait until after school. So I try out for the baseball team. Like I told you, I'm athletic with my legs and all, but I'm a bred athlete. My family is, and I was always one of the better athletes. So I try out for the baseball team at Pepper. Let me tell you this. Pepper was an all-black baseball team for like 8 years up to that point. I make the team. I'm the skateboarder punk rock kid on this all-black baseball. I was like the reverse Jackie Robinson. Like, they fucking hated me. Everyone hated me. So my coach did the thing he thought was best to do, and they made me captain of the team, which no one cared that I was the captain of the team. At that school, one day, right before I was going out to practice, I go into the boys' room after school, and as I walk in, it was after school because practice was about to start. As I walk in, these 3 black kids pull in. They were sitting in one of the stalls. They were already doing something. So when I walk in, they turn around to me, and they see me, and they're like, oh, we got another one. By that time, I walked in far enough. I see they got this white kid, Rick, that I would take the trolley with every day to school. I know this kid, this white kid. They're robbing him. They're going through his pockets, and he was taking a shit. So he's like had his pants down. So they have him, and he's curled up next to the toilet in the wall, and they're like going through his pockets, and they're humiliating him. And I walk in, and they stop just because someone walked in. Well, the littlest black kid, this is the guy I was just talking about earlier. You all know this guy. It doesn't matter what color, what race he is. He always had to tell us how crazy he was. I'm crazy. But he's always knocked the fuck out. He's always one run and left his friends. He always started all the trouble and left. He was always that guy. Plus, his dad was a Philadelphia Eagle. Not really. His dad was on the practice squad, but we let him get away with it. He was an Eagle for 2 years. So when I walked in and they said, we got another one, I look at them, and Big Steve, who's a bigger black kid out of the group, who I'm still friends with to this day, Steve says, nah, Frankie's cool. Let him go. Let him go. And what Steve is saying to me is, don't rat on us for fucking robbing this kid in the bathroom. He's like, you're cool, meaning like I'm not going to say anything. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm cool. I look over at Rick, and Rick's like, fucking go get somebody help me. You know what I mean? I could tell the look, you know? And I looked at Rick, and I was like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm cool. And I backed out that door, and I didn't get nobody. I fucking didn't do it. You can hold it against me if you want. Call me punk. I was 13 years old, and I was fucking tired of that school. I never went back to school again. Listen to me. Never went back to school again. That day on, I cut Pepper Middle School every day. 49 days. Or 47. My dad says it's 49, but 40 some odd days consecutive, I missed school. I was a D student at fucking best when I showed up. When I showed up, I was a D student. They graduated me. That's how bad some of our school districts are. So you're going to talk about, again, we can talk about racism, when our school districts are doing these things, we have to look at that. 47 days, let's just say 47. 47 days, April, May, and June, I missed all of school, and they fucking graduated me. So, since they graduated me, my dad said I could do whatever I want for the summer. So I got to get out of West Philly, which is great, Southwest Philly. So what was great about that was my cousins lived up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, if none of you know, let me tell you about it. Lancaster, Pennsylvania is fucking the hub of the Amish. Like, that's their turf. You go there, you know it. That's their turf. They go around horse and buggies. They wave to you. They don't do drive-bys or shit. They go in horse and buggies. So they don't got a good drive-by system. But anyway, they go by. They wave. They're super nice. Yo, these people live without no electricity, like their whole lives. They have cows and pigs and shit. That's National Geographic shit to me from a kid from the city. These people had no electricity and had 15 kids. The funniest thing about it was, it intrigued me enough. But these people, I used to think that sometimes maybe they were reenacting shit for me. Like, you would go down to like a Williamsburg, you know, and people react to Civil War shit. These people didn't reenact turning butter. They really just fucking turn butter. That's how they live. And to me, that was amazing. So going from the city to this over the summer was great. My cousin that lived up there, he was an old punk rock kid. I really looked up to him, and I'm not talking like Green Day punk rock. I'm talking like exploited, like England punk rock shit. He used to put, like the old punk rocker used to. If you ever see guys that have that big fin that goes straight in the air, like nowadays they have hair products, you can do that shit. Back then they didn't. You know what they used? Elmer's glue and eggs. That's how they used to hold their hair straight up in the air for days on end. It would stay fucking standing straight up. And you see like little eggshells in their hair and shit. And they'd be like green and purple. I don't even think they turn and dye the colors. I think the shit just turned colors. It was fucking dirtballs. My cousin's like one of them true punk rockers. Can't wait to go hang out with him that whole summer. When I go up there, I walk in his room, and he used to have anarchy signs and fucking suspension notices with boogies on them with knives through them right through his wall. Like, he just fucking punk rock. And I go up there, and it's not that way anymore. And he wasn't home when I first got there, so I was up in his room waiting for him. And he had, like, all these newspaper articles about neo-Nazis on his wall. Like, just wallpaper to his wall. So I read them. I'd seen skinheads around. I'd heard of some stuff, you know, so I'm just reading his stuff. And my cousin comes in, and he looks different. He's not punk rocked out anymore. You know, clean shaven, hair, nice pants, boots. And I remember he said, I'll never forget this. First thing he asked me, he said, what do you think of these? As I'm looking at the articles again, and I was like, that's cool, but what's neo mean? Because I didn't know what neo even meant back, you know, I was a kid. I was like, what's neo mean? He goes, it just means new. We're just new. We're the new style. So that night, and every night after that, my cousin's house happened to be like the kind of hangout spot in that kind of farming country. Again, there's 4-mile-long dirt road. There's 4 families. The other 3 are Amish. They're not normal, right? My cousin, and the Amish people are not skinheads. These are just other white boy farmers who are skinheads now. And they're all in this group, this neo-Nazi skinhead group. And they would come over to my cousin's house, and they'd always bring beer, and they'd always bring girls, and they were tattooed, and they drove. So they're kind of cool. They had beer with them. They always give me a beer. I was a little skateboarder kid, hung out with these skinhead dudes. They give me a beer. And mostly we always had this one girl, because we all know this one girl in our lives. Remember, she was like queen bee of our group. Like, she would always be like, I don't get along with other bitches. They're all backstabbers. So we couldn't have other girls like hang out because she didn't like other girls, right? Yeah, I know you know friends like that. And she was so hot that we took it. We're like, okay, whatever you say, Terry. Sure, you're so hot. Sure, you know, no other girls. But she kind of was like the queen bee of the group. So as they would always get drunk a little bit, my cousin would always say to them, yo, my cousin lives down in one of the worst neighborhoods in Philadelphia. Tell him about it. And all these farm boys, big skinhead dudes would listen to me talk about what's it like growing. I live catty-corner to the Pascal Street fucking projects. So I would tell them about what it's like. And every night, as they would always drink, they'd always get to talking to me about what's it like where I grow up. That was fucking amazing to me. Because I'll tell you right now, if we call my mom and my dad, or can't call my mom just died of a heroin overdose like a couple months ago. Like to this day, common right now, I'm talking about real fucking life shit right now. My mom just died of a fucking heroin overdose. So this is where I'm coming from. So, but if we called her when she was still alive, or we call my dad right now, they won't ask me, how's my day? They won't ask me, how's their grandchildren? They'll tell me about who got the best shit in the neighborhood, who got robbed, who's robbing who told so-and-so, who's a snitch, blah, 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 blah. They'll tell me the fucking same stories. When I would walk home from football, or I walk home from school and I had a black eye, my parents, when I walked in the door, never said, oh my God, dear, are you okay? Are you all right? They never asked me them fucking questions. It's not my parents' parenting fucking style. When these skinhead dudes would ask me, what's it like growing up in Philly? It was someone saying, how's your day? How's life? Are you okay? And I say, no, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And these guys would listen to me. And that's every same gang situation. It's all the same. This camaraderie of joining this group, right? So we got that down. That's fucking easy. I just want to be around them. They asked me about my fucking life. So now, they're going to go to this concert hall, and they're going to go beat everybody up. It's like 2 weeks in or 3 weeks into this new summer. I'm living with my cousin, who's living with all these skinhead guys who come over to my aunt's house all the time. So we go to this concert hall, and it was 1988 going to 89. We're going to go, and all these other skinheads are showing up, and they're going to go beat up everybody inside this nightclub. Everyone inside the nightclub is getting beat up tonight, they're saying. So all these other skinheads show up, and they're cool with my cousin and them, but I don't know any of these guys. And I still had a little skater haircut. I had it fucking going on as a skater. So I had this little skater haircut and shit. And they said, and my cousin said, hey, he's trying to tell everyone, like, hey, this is my little cousin right here. When we get in there, don't accidentally beat him up because he's got hair on his head. And the guys were like, oh, yeah, some of them will remember, some won't remember. So this biggest farm boy that they have out of everyone comes over to me. He really liked me. I was like the little guy. He was like the biggest guy. He came over and he goes, I got him. I got him. He grabs me like a little baby and throws me up on his shoulders, right? Like just like a little baby. He picked me up, like, whoop, put me right up on. So I'm sitting on this big dude's shoulders in this nightclub, and all these fights start breaking out. Now, it's only all other white people in this club, but the other big hairstyle was the mullet. So they're going to beat up people with mullets. And that's a good fucking cause. Right? So I'm like, I'm down. So we're in there. And as we're in there, this big farm boy punches this guy in his pit. And he spins him around. And he holds him. And he goes, kick him, Frank, kick him. So I'm on this big dude's shoulders. I'm like, wow, trying to kick at this guy in the club, And I can't connect because the dude's arms are longer than my legs. So he's holding the guy at bay like this, but I keep missing him. Bouncers came, kicked us all out. Kicked all the skinheads out all night long. End of the night, we're all standing against this wall. The door's probably maybe like 20 feet from where we were all standing. There's all these skinheads standing against the wall, and I'm standing with them. And we're all standing like this, and the nightclub's letting out. And as the nightclub lets out, all the people are parked over here. They got to walk by us, and no one would walk by us. Nobody. They'd all go this way and go around. So that guy that we were trying to kick comes out, and that big farm boy goes, yo, Frankie, let's go talk to this guy. So yeah, let's go talk to him. I don't know what's about to happen. We go over to this guy, and this big farm boy goes up to this dude and goes, yo, you got something to say? We're outside now. You got something to say now? And this dude turned around and was like, no, I never had anything to say to you guys. Nothing. And he stepped on. In that moment, I fucking loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it's the same feeling that every gangster kid gets, every thug kid, every carjacker, every fucking bully. We love when people have fear. I loved it. And I know it's sick and demented. And I'm a broken human being at that time. Absolutely broken. But I love that moment. I could see the fear in his face. Now, he really doesn't fear me. I come up to the hip. I'm standing next to the guy. But I love that look. Why? Because deep down inside, I'm just a spiritually bankrupt, sick little boy who's scared of everything. Scared of my homes, scared of my parents, scared of my schools, scared of I was going to have enough fucking food to eat today. And now someone fears me. And I'm telling you right now, I work in juvie centers across the country. They're filled with people like me. We are egomaniacs with no self-esteem. There's some of you in this room right now. Egomaniacs, no self-esteem. How do you judge that? If you ask a kid why he's in juvie hall, he says he punched a kid in the mouth. Why? Because he tried on my sneaker. So you punch him in the fucking mouth? Yeah, he disrespected me. It's all about respect, right? So then I used to say to these kids, I say, oh, it's about respect, huh? So it's not disrespectful that your mom's coming to visit you here tomorrow on Christmas because you want to punch a kid in school in the fucking face over your shoe? Egomaniacs, no self-esteem. When you figure that problem out, you figure it out on a human being, it's an individual basis, that's when you start to fix them. So I love that part. So that night we go to back to this party, an after party. And we go to this after party, and this guru skinhead guy came over to me, and he slapped me in my head real hard in front of everybody, and he slapped me hard enough to flip my hair up, and he was like, wow, and he says, when are you going to shave this shit off your head, man? I looked at him, I was like, I'll do it now. I had to look at my cousin, though, because my cousin's responsible for me. He's 15. He's responsible. So I said, can I cut my hair? He said, yeah, let's do it. So everyone got me out on the back porch. They sat me down on this party, and everyone came outside. And I'm sitting in this little chair, and every guy, they would get the clippers out, and every guy would do one row of my hair, and then he'd give it the clippers to somebody else. And they would say something, white power or whatever. Sig Heil. Next guy cut my hair. Next guy cut my hair. I'm in. No initiation shit, no movie shit here. The guys liked me. They thought I was cool, and I could, None of them ever been to the city. They always thought the city was cool. They all thought now they have someone to go see in the city. So I joined this group. So look, you can see from what's going on in my life, I get the black-white issue. I'm fist fighting with these fucking kids all the time. Latino kids, same thing, So I got that part of the fight. But when they started to talk about the Jews, I never met any Jews. I didn't know no Jews. And the only time I ever heard the word Jew in my whole life was even from some good people in my life who would just say this because it was this neighborhood racism shit that people thought was acceptable. But they would come back from the store one day, my uncle would say, and my uncle, again, is a good guy, but he would say this because it's so acceptable. He would go and he would talk to my grandma. He'd be like, yeah, I went to Johnny at the store today. Hey, he tried to Jew me. Tried to Jew me for this thing. And everyone laughed, and yeah, it was a thing. He tried to Jew me down. And I never got the joke as a kid. I would ask them, what's that mean? Why does everyone laugh when you say that? And they'd always say this to me. They'd start to explain, well, the Jews, they just have this, you know what, you'll get it when you're older. You just get it when you're older. I'm at my first skinhead meeting. I'm sitting around with these guys, and they start talking about the Federal Reserve is secretly run by the Jews and Zionist occupational government. And they secretly funnel money from the government over to Israel, and they're going to run the world this way. And I'm thinking, for one, I'm 14 years old, and they're talking about the Federal Reserve. Shit, I don't know what the fucking Federal Reserve does. I just know it's bad shit. But these guys are saying that it's secretly run by the Jews, and I got it. I got it in that conversation. I got the don't Jew me joke. I'm older now. Like, I must be older. My uncle said I'll get it when I'm older. I got it. Don't Jew me. I got the fucking stupid joke. I couldn't wait to know what the adults know in my life. You have to understand something. I only want to know shit. I became a pundit in that moment. You know pundits, like Fox News, like Sean Hannity, like they're fucking pundits. What do pundits, why? It's because their whole life and everything they do, and I became this way too, everything I did and said was I read something because I just wanted ammunition to be able to debate with you. I wanted more ammunition to be able to fight with you in an argument. I only read things for ammunition. I didn't read things to know things. And that's the difference between normal people and pundits. So I became this person who just read everything I had to on this movement so that I could debate with the adults and prove them wrong because they fucking left me to fend for myself. I definitely want to be able to beat them in debates and talks. So I get so involved in this group. By the age of 15 years old, I get a big swastika tattoo right here on my neck. And it's like, if any of you guys ever see the cover of my book or anything, it's a big swastika on my fucking neck. And I have Made in Philly tattooed on top of my forehead. I still have that tattoo. It goes right across the top of my hairline up here. Because I am made in Philly. My parents did have sex in Philadelphia when they made me, so I just said, fuck it, I'm going to get to that too. And this is the first part out of my mom's vajayjay, so I got it right there. Made in Philly. Everything we do in the movement is criminal. Everything. From everything we do 24 hours a day. From selling stolen guns, to violence, to bombings, to plottings, to everything. It's just all our whole life. The bad part, and it's really bad, but what's even worse for me is doing all these things in Philadelphia with my new crew that was coming up and getting a good name for themselves in the movement, is that you think it's kind of hardcore that I have these tattoos. No, to the police, I'm just the most identifiable human being on the fucking planet Earth. So every time I do bad shit, people go to them and say, oh, the guy that did this, he's got a swastika right here. I think it says, and the cop, does it say Made in Philly up there? And I'm like, yeah, oh, we know that fucking guy. We'll get him. In and out of juvie hall. Only white kid in juvie hall, let alone I'm a skinhead. I get out, I'm about 16 years old, have warrants put out for my arrest again. The skinhead movement couldn't get rid of me, because by this time I was going up to Bible studies, and I don't want to drag too long on some of the beliefs and stuff, but I just want you to understand where this shit happens, and it happens across the world, in different shit, in different religions, different parts of the world, but they all use the same recruiting tool. Same recruiting tool, it goes just like this. Real quick. So, a minister will come to Pottstown, Pennsylvania. He was from Arizona or whatever. So guest ministers would come in. And we would go out and we'd shoot guns at Bible studies. We go out, we shoot guns, learn about a race war. A race war isn't what you think, black versus white. It's not what a race war is. It's not what it never was. A race war is whites versus the federal government, blacks versus the federal government, and then we split the country up the same one that Nation of Islam and Aryan Nations drew up a map in 1986 on how we should divide the country. So they're all part of the same plot and scheme. So, and the map is actually in a book called Blood in the Face. The actual map that they drew up together. So, you go in and there's a minister, after we get done learning how to shoot guns and be part of the race war. And they say, all right, we come in and let's see what story. We'll just use the easy one. That's Adam and Eve, right? So you gotta know, every story they're about to tell you has a twist. Adam and Eve, we all know this real story, or what the real story is. I don't know if it's a real story or not, but Adam and Eve is that God said, don't eat the fucking fruit. The chick does it anyway, because she just says, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want. And then she gets the dude to do it, too, because we just do whatever the fuck he tells us to do. And that's why we're all in trouble for eternity. That's the story, right? Thanks, chick. So, anyway, that's not what they would take of the story. Their story goes like this. The snake that comes to Eve, that gets her to partake of this fruit, the fruit of knowledge, the sin, let's say, let's put it right out there, it's a sin. God said, don't do this. This serpent comes to her and tricks her into doing it anyway. It isn't a piece of fruit. It's they have sex. This devil, this demon that comes to her, tricks her to have sex. And other people in other sects of Christianity believe this story too, just not to the extent of where I'm about to take it. So this demon has sex with Eve because she's never had that sin. She's never committed the sin. Her and Adam have walked and frolicked in this garden naked and haven't had sex yet. So this devil tricks her into having sex. He impregnates her with Cain. She knows that something's going on, so she runs back and hurries up and has sex with Adam so that she could say Cain is his. So let me tell you, already we got a fucking Maury Povich episode. We got people saying, you're not the father, you are the father, right? They truly believe this. So they go on, and they have sex later on after Cain is born, and they have Adam and Eve's first real child, which is Abel. Cain later on kills Abel in jealousy and rage. And they say that Cain is the first evil Jew on the planet. He's the start of the Jewish race. Mind you, I was a Catholic boy. I was a good Catholic boy. I went to Mass on Christmas and Easter, and I wiped dirt on my head on fucking Ash Wednesday and said I went. You know, like all the other boys in my neighborhood. But I went to catechism and I learned shit. Father Wassel and Sister Mary Agnes never told me that story out of the Bible. I never once heard that version of the story. So now, when people are going to get upset, let's just know this. When we used to hold AK-47s and a Holy Bible, and people would take pictures. Now, when people do it now, and they have the Quran, right? You see over in Syria, a guy hold the fucking AR, and he'll have the Quran in his hand, and they'll be like, oh, look at that. I'm like, bitch, we used to do that shit too. We all did it. We all did it. Now, here's the trick of it all. When I would say I'm a Catholic boy, and I never learned this before, the minister would say to me, for one, they don't like Catholics because Catholics worship Jesus as a Jew, and they say Jesus isn't a Jew, and that's a whole other fucking story. I can get into it, but that'll take some time. So anyway, they don't believe Jesus is Jewish, even though he proclaims to himself in the Bible he's a Jew. But anyway, let's not talk about facts and reason. When I would say, why doesn't everyone else know what you're telling me? They say, because God chose you to know it now. God needs you. He needs angels to ruin Sodom and Gomorrah. Because remember, he sent angels to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. It wasn't people. He sent angels. And he's sending you. America is Sodom and Gomorrah. It is your job to help us take it down. So you're telling this fucking welfare kid from Philadelphia that God actually wants me on his fucking team? Like, I'm part of this? I'm for real? This is the same thing that's taught to people who go and blow themselves up. It's the same exact rhetoric. It's the same exact thing that they're working on. We all use the same thing because all you got to say is, God said so, right? All you got to say. When you're a kid, when you're a little kid, you always ask, why? When I get tired of telling my kids because daddy said so, because motherfucker, God said so, right? It's the end of the conversation, goddammit, right? It's the ultimate source of authority. And they're telling me God wants me on his fucking team. I'm in. I'm absolutely in. Plotting and scheming, bombs, cars, the whole thing. With all these warrants you get put out for my arrest, I'm bringing a lot of heat onto the movement in Pennsylvania, which at the time, leading hate state in America, Pennsylvania, not fucking Alabama, not any of the southern states that you want to wish that it is. Florida, well, fuck Florida. It's a horrible state anyway. It's a penis of America. So, when they would use this term of God, I bought in. With all the warrants for my arrest, they couldn't kill me because I had so many people. Just so you know, in our movement, especially on the East Coast, no drugs. We weren't allowed to do any drugs. If you did drugs, you were banished. Just so you all know, drug addicts, if you have any in your life, it's hard to deal with them, I get it. But they're also the first people to snitch on your ass when they're in trouble because they want to get out and get high. So you're not allowed to do drugs because you'll be the first person to snitch. So we do all this stuff. And well, with all that, they put me in an underground system. And I pop up all over the place. I popped up in Queens, New York. Jamaica, Queens, which is not a good place for me. I stood out like a fucking sore thumb, but whatever. Then I went up in Virginia Beach. Then I wound up in Indianapolis. And when I'm in Indy, I'm living in Indy in this real safe house with other people who were wanted by the FBI in their parts of the country. We all live in this central part, in this one safe house. And I got tired of living there. They were 23, 25-year-old guys. I was a 16-year-old boy who ran out of money. I ran out of the money I was given. And so I want to make more money so I don't starve to death. And these guys didn't want to ever leave the house because they were wanting on major shit. I would sneak out every night like a little bad boy. I was like the bad boy of the bad boys. I snuck out of the bad boy house to go out and do shit at night because I was just so tired of being around these guys. So one day I'm walking in, it's like 6 in the morning, I've been out all night just walking the streets of Indianapolis, and I'm walking and this guy's doing concrete work. I walk over to him, say, hey man, can I help you? I need some money. The guy said, sure, I'll give you a job. Show up every day and I'll pay you. Show up every day and the guy starts paying me. I gave him a fake name because I couldn't tell him who I was because I'm wanted by the police. So I gave him a fake name. So he's paying me under the table, which worked perfect for me. And then he says to me one day, he's sitting in his truck, he says, come here, Frank, you're smoking a bowl. My boss loved weed. He was the biggest pothead ever, right? And I didn't smoke weed. So it's funny, he called me over, and he always do this to me, right? He always go, you want to hit Frankie? And I always go, no, man, that stuff's ruining the white race. He go, yeah, I own a business. You're homeless. Yeah, I'm ruining the white race. Good one, Frank. Like, he was just like a dick, you know? But he was funny. He calls me over one day, and he goes, hey, I need your Social Security number. And I didn't know my Social Security number. I never knew what my Social Security number was, and I didn't even know how many digits were my Social Security number. So I just hurried up and threw together 2 phone numbers, my aunt's and my grandmom's. I remember them to this day. Throw out these 2 phone numbers to him, like, ba, 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 ba. He says, wait a minute, that's too many numbers. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, how many too many? He goes, 4. I said, well, take 2 off the front and 2 off the back. Let's call it good, right? And he was like, all right, Frankie, all right. He knew I was fucking bogus. Showed up every day, and I worked. He loved Oprah Winfrey. He was obsessed with Oprah Winfrey. My white boss was obsessed with this woman who was just getting famous in that area, the Indianapolis, Chicago area. So he's like obsessed with this woman, Oprah Winfrey. He'd always ask me, "You watch Oprah last night?" And I go, "No, motherfucker, I got a swastika on my neck. I don't watch Oprah." And he'd always go, "She's good, man. You should watch her." He was a funny dude. He started driving me to these other skinheads in Springfield, Illinois. I started meeting up with these other skinhead group, and they were young. They didn't hide out in safe houses. They went to clubs. I wanted to hang out with them. They had girls and shit. One day, my boss says, "I can't take you to either place tonight. I can't take you back to Indy. I can't take you to Springfield." He goes, "We're closer to my apartment. Do you mind if I take you to my house? I'm going to drop you off. I'm going to go out with my girl. You can have my apartment for the night. There ain't shit up there anyway. Don't worry about it. Just go up there." And I said, "Sure." He goes, "Is there anything I can get for you?" It was Friday. I said, "Yeah, can you get me a case of beer? I'm a 16-year-old alcoholic. No drugs, full-blown alcoholic already." He said, "Sure." He goes and buys me a case of beer with my work money. He gives me the case of beer. We'll go to the apartment. I remember as I was walking up the steps, because you're on the second story, I was walking up the steps and I was thinking, I didn't get anything to fucking eat. Like, I just got beer. Like, I get nothing to eat. Like, what alcoholic thinks of food? You don't fucking think of food. So I go up into this apartment, I start drinking. I'm all by myself. For any of you guys, we'll give you a little short, you know this already, but I'm going to back it up with you. Alcohol is not a cheery up drug. It's a fucking depressant. It fucking makes you more sad. And you know it when your friend like breaks up with his girl and he wants to go out drinking. Don't fucking do it. He's just going to get the crying drunks on you. And he's going to be a fucking asshole, right? And you should be like, "I should have just brought him to the strip joint. What the fuck?" But anyway, that's what alcohol does to you. It gets you crying drunks and the woes. Well, I got the crying drunks that night. Sitting up there all in this apartment all by myself, listening to fucking alarm clock radio with fucking country music. Made me even fucking sadder. And then at the TV, at a little black and white TV just to fucking watch Oprah on. And a couch bed. And that's all this dude has in his apartment. So I'm drinking these beers and I'm getting more and more sad, and I write out a suicide note, just thinking, nobody fucking knows me, nobody cares about me, I'm a fucking John Doe here, who gives a shit? And I write out this whole little suicide note about no one knowing me and who gives a shit, and I cut both my wrists wide open, just cut them wide open. They're all drunk and stupid and being ignorant. So I start bleeding all over my boss's apartment. Now, he had like 4 rooms in this apartment. I made sure while I was bleeding pretty profusely, I went in every fucking room in his apartment, so just blood everywhere, just blood everywhere. I'm not smart. I go out, and it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. I figure by this time I'm sobering up a little bit, and I start noticing, like, I'm not going to die, but I have these really nasty cuts, and my boss's apartment's fucking wrecked. So I go out on this back porch, and I'm dripping blood down on the concrete from this little step patio thing I'm sitting on. And I'm sitting down there, it's like 2 in the morning, and I look over, and there's this fucking dude walking his dog. And as he's walking his dog, I'm thinking, what asshole does something normal like fucking walk his dog? But I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and I start noticing, you know, to this day, I've never seen this look on another human being yet. I dread the day I do see it. He looked like he's seen a ghost. His face went pale white. He was just looking up at me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at, dude? Oh, and then I remembered, because when you're drunk and stupid, you forget that you're covered in blood. So I'm covered in blood. So I look, and finally, I figured it out why he's looking at me this fucking weird way. So I did the real smart thing. I was like, oh, shit. I ran back in the apartment. Of course, he calls the police. He tells the police that I killed the guy upstairs. He thinks I killed my boss. So when the police show up, they show up in a SWAT team, knocking on the door. I'm all drunk. It's like Cops, like the episode Cops. They're knocking on the door. I was like, nobody's home. Leave me alone. It's all good. We're cool. And they're like, no, you ain't, mother. And they just came right in. Came right in. And they're screaming at me, where's the dead body? Where's the dead body? And I remember I looked, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're making my fucking situation a lot worse talking about this dead body shit right now. Cop, I give them my fake name. They don't bring me to county jail. They didn't really do anything. I mean, attempting suicide is against the law, but they just brought me to the local crazy hospital. They call it Crazy Kate's. They bring me to this place called Crazy Kate's, and it's a lockdown mental institution. And then they bring me there, and the whole time I give them my fake name. Well, once I sobered up a little bit in the hospital, I gave them my real name. I thought that was cool. I thought I had some privileged doctor shit here going on. No, I didn't, because he turned around and told the police what my real name was. And they find all my warrants for my arrest. Doctor comes into me and says, you know what would be really good for you? It's just people falling through the cracks in life. They couldn't wait to get rid of me in that hospital. I had a big swastika on my neck. They couldn't wait to get rid of me out of that fucking hospital. Doctor comes to me and says, look, we found out you have all these warrants. The police are here. We're going to give you 1 or 2 days. They're going to figure out how they can get you back home. We figured maybe what might get you out of your depression is you should go back home and you deal with your problems. Yeah, you're fucking sending me back to Juvie Hall in Philly. Yeah, I'm going to go back and solve my problems there, buddy. So I decided to call the skinheads up in Springfield. I said, come visit me. I need to get the fuck out of this hospital. They paid a prostitute to come visit me and say she's my aunt. She walks into the hospital. I used to let her come in and see me. She comes sees me. I tell her where my window is. I need them to break the certain window. I can't break it. I tried to break it the night before. I can't break it. It's part of my hospital room. It goes right into the parking lot. It's fucking beautiful. She draw up the map. She brings it out to the guys. 2 o'clock in the morning, they show up. Start lofting bricks up my window. I had like 3 windows. I marked which one I wanted broken. They're throwing bricks up, and it won't break. It's like that double pane glass, you know? So it's like, boom. Every time it hit, it'd be loud as shit, and like maybe spider web a little bit here and there, but it wouldn't like shatter and fall out like I thought. So I got all my furniture in my room, and I put it against the door. Figured that was cool. I got that because there was big orderlies, right? Big guys. They sit on you when you act crazy. That's what they do. Sit on you. I knew they were going to come get me. So I put all my furniture against the door, and as the next thing went through, I seen a bullet go through. I didn't see the bullet, but I seen the bullet go through the window, and I seen it like kind of start to fall out a little bit more. And as the orderlies were coming to my door, I was like, ha, 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 fuck you. I got my furniture there. Well, I forgot, as in all mental hospitals, my fucking door pulls open. You know, they don't have this, so you can't barricade yourself in the room. So they pull it open, my furniture is just sitting there. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing, remodel? What the fuck are you doing? And I was like, oh shit, so I just jumped. This story is the story that started my book, because when my writers and our fact finders that we hired from our publishing company did not believe this story, we all came on to this hospital and we asked the hospital people about the story. And they told the story worse than I have ever told it. When I jumped out the window, I only had a hospital gown on. They'd stolen my clothes. But I had to go through 2 trees to get through the ground. Well, that stole my hospital gown. So when I landed, I'm just fucking naked. And I'm running through this parking lot. And as I'm running through this parking lot, these big orderlies came out to try and catch me, but they were alligator arming a little bit because I was like this flopping around skinhead kid. They were like, stop running. No, just keep running, please, keep running. You know, they just wanted me to keep going. Falling through the fucking cracks everywhere. Now I get to Springfield, Illinois. Springfield, Illinois, I get a fight. I get arrested. They find all the warrants for my arrest. The worst thing could happen in the world. I'm in this juvenile county jail in Springfield, Illinois, and I found out I lost all 3 of my warrants. I had a warrant for my arrest in New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. I was a tri-state kind of person. They all dropped my warrants because I was too far away to extradite. And it was too much money to extradite a juvenile. That kept me, my warrants had always kept me a little bit sane. Instead of always being the I'm crazy guy. If you have friends like this, and some of you might have a friend, like, if you're ever driving around with your friend, like, yo, we should go to that party tonight. And he says, no, I can't, man, I got warrants for my arrest. You're fucking hanging out with the wrong people, right? Well, I used to say that shit all the time. No, I can't do it, I got warrants for my arrest. Now I don't have the warrants for my arrest. In the town of Springfield, Illinois, I'll go over the history of it real quick, because you got to know what builds up to this shit. Springfield, Illinois is like the home of Abraham Lincoln. He's not really from there. I think he's like from fucking Missouri or some shit, but they claim that he's from there. And trust me, they love Abraham Lincoln. You go there, it's like, Abraham Lincoln walked this path, and he thought about this when he did it, and there was a bird chirping in the fucking sky. And then, you know, Abraham Lincoln sat on that bench right there, and that's where he first thought about slaves. You know, and it's like, bullshit, fuck you know. That outhouse, that fucking bathroom, Abraham Lincoln took a shit. Right in that fucking bathroom. DNA says he took a shit right in that fucking bathroom. They love him. Also, a big thing in Springfield, Illinois, is the home and the founding place of the NAACP. I don't know if you know that. You know now. It was founded by a white Russian immigrant who's seen black dudes were being shot by the cops. Unarmed black people were being shot. 100-year thing, right? They always say it's a 100-year thing. And this man went into the projects and said, you need to organize. It'll stop if you organize. And that's how the NAACP was started. It's got this really good civil rights feel for this town. But you also have Chicago in your north, East St. Louis in the south. You have these huge black gangs, bigger than the Bloods and the Crips. Gangster Disciples is the biggest black gang there ever has been and probably ever will be in this country, is the Gangster Disciples. Gangster Disciples are held out of Chicago. The second biggest gang is the Vice Lords. They're also out of Chicago. They hate each other. It's the 2 big black gangs. People in folk nations. I'm starting to learn all this shit. I didn't know about this shit. Then you have Latino gangs. You had your Latin Kings, which are with the Vice Lords, and then you have the Maniac Latin Disciples, which are underneath the Gangster Disciples. If a Latino guy fucks with one of them black gangs, this Latino gang's got to go after him. And it's all structured just like this. Now, there's white gangs. No, let me remind you of the time now. This is 1991, 92. The big white gangster at the time was fucking Vanilla Ice. So all these white gangster kids were fucking Vanilla Ice kids. And I fucking couldn't stand them. There was an embarrassment to our race. So I was like, I want nothing to do with them. I started recruiting these kids out of this one high school. Lanphier High School. Top-ranked football and basketball team in the state. And it's in central Illinois. So this kid he helped actually break me out of the mental hospital. He went to that high school. He was the only one of us that still went to school. All the rest of us had dropped out. We needed him to give out flyers at school one day. We said, yo, we gave him like these paper flyers and shit. We didn't have the internet yet, no internet. So he said, here, can you give out these paper flyers at your school? His school is very diverse. Lanfear was a very diverse school. So he goes to the school, while you guys were all in class, he doesn't go up to the white kids and say, hey, here you go, you should read this. You should read this. No, not this fucking genius. What he did while you were all in class, he went to your air slots in your lockers, and he slid it through everyone's air slots during class. So now the gangster kids, the thug kids, the basketball kids, just everybody, black kids, Latino kids, they open up their fucking locker between classes, and it would fall right out. So everyone's like would fall out uniformly, and they would all pick it up, and they look at it. He's the only skinhead in the school. So the basketball team goes, we're fucking you up outside of school. So he calls me up from the office and says, yo, can you meet me outside of school? I'm going to get jumped. I said, absolutely, I'll be right there. Me and my two boys show up, just me and two other guys. None of us don't go to school no more. We're all tattooed up. We're hanging outside this high school, which sounds kind of creepy and pedophile-ish, but I was fucking 17 years old, so I fit in this age group. I just look a lot different. He comes running out, and the school happens. He's like the first kid out of school. He runs right down to us, and the basketball team was right behind him. And they see us, and we're all tattooed, So they kind of see us, and they're like, never mind, and they fucking went the other way. So this kid says to me, while we're all standing there, he says, Frank, will you hang out with some of my friends from school, the kids I sit at lunch with? I was like, sure, fucking why not? Plus there was girls there, so I was like, sure, I'll hang out. So we go over. In this main part of the parking lot, when you first came out of this huge school, and Lanfear is a huge school, huge parking lot. It's where all the jocks, the preps, and the normie kids hung out. And I know, administration, we're not supposed to label kids nowadays, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. So they're all here. And then there's this little gangster wall that all the gangster wannabe thugs had on this one half wall, carved with little gang signs and shit. Then there's all the goth, emo kids, punk rock kids. They all hung on this little grass hill underneath these trees. And that's who our friend is friends with. That's where I came from, too. So I walk over, and we're talking with all these skater kids. And this main skater kid that I could tell was kind of like the main one. He probably knew how to ollie first and all grind first, whatever. So he's like the main skater kid. I'm talking to him. He's sitting on the skateboard in grass. Literally, while I'm talking, his skateboard is like sinking in the fucking dirt, which is bad for your ball bearings, So I was like, yo, while we're here, my boys are here, why don't we go take the wall off the gangbangers? So we'll take the wall off them, you can grind on the wall. You can't fucking grind in grass. Skater kid turns to me and says, it's better if we stay right here. These trees act as a radar system for when people throw shit at us. And I was like, for one, did you just fucking say the word radar system to me, you fucking nerd? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He says, no, these trees right here act as a radar system for when people throw shit at us. And I was like, no way, get the fuck out of here. Within 10 minutes, we're sitting there, a D battery comes through the trees. A D battery will split your fucking head wide open. This D battery came right through our tree, and it started bouncing off limbs, and everyone ducked. And as it was going through the limbs, you heard someone scream, get out of our school, you fucking freaks, Kind of knew where it came from because of the fucking radar system. Fucking nerd was right. So I look over where all them dudes were standing, and I said, come on. And I grabbed my two buddies. I don't grab any from the school. I don't want no one to get in trouble. I said, come on, let's go over there. We go over, and as we're starting to walk over, I think I know who threw it. You can tell everyone kind of keeps looking at this one kid, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't the fucking geniuses here. So I'm walking over, and I see him, and he comes walking out between these two parked cars on me. And as soon as he walks out, I kind of just put my hands right, I just put my hands up. You do, right? So I put my hands up, and he fucking does too. And he was a big boy, so I was like, shit. All right, it's just me and him kind of squared off. And I could tell right away he doesn't know how to hold his hands, he's kind of just standing like an offensive lineman, like, And I was fucking squared up. He says, we're squared up. He was like, what do you want, dude? I said, who threw the battery? And I swear to you, he goes just like that. He's like, what? Who threw the battery? John. John threw the battery and rats his friend out right in front of everybody. And John didn't throw the fucking battery. I knew John didn't throw the battery, but I'm going to act. I was like, all right. So I go over. John starts crying. John is like part of the offensive line fucking crew here. He starts crying to me in front of everyone. I didn't throw it. He's a fucking liar. He's always lying. He threw it. I didn't throw it. He's like crying to me. So I'm going to walk back over to the big dude, and I'm just going to sucker punch him. So as I'm walking over to him, he sees that I'm not coming over, and he does just like this to me. He's just keeping me at bay. As I'm walking over, he goes, hey, dude, we're sorry. And he goes out and shakes my hand. We won't throw nothing no more. All the skater kids act like they didn't watch that or see that happen. I'm going to tell you right now, they all watched it happen, and they all loved it because it's the first time in like 2 years that anyone's picked up from them. Lanfear High School, having the top-ranked football and basketball team, they fucking got away with murder. And mostly at the hands of these fucking kids. And now it's not going to happen on my fucking watch. So now I start to recruit them. How do I recruit? I don't recruit girls. No idea to fucking recruit girls. Still don't know. I've been married for 16 years. Still don't know what the fuck you think. I'm just always wrong. So I don't recruit girls. I get girls that come along with the bad boy image, I guess. I recruit boys. And so what do I want to recruit in this high school? You have to go down a checklist, you know what I mean? Do I want the fucking smart, nerdy guy? You do because you need someone to write up some flyers for you once in a while, but you know, you don't grab a bunch of them for your crew. Do you grab a bunch of I'm crazy guys? One or two. It's not good when your crew's getting knocked out all the time, so that's not good street cred. So I wouldn't get too many of them. But you do need a couple pawns for a punch once in a while. Do I get good-looking boys? Fuck no. I don't need no competition. I always recruit the same boy. And that's the boy that drives a car. You're fucking in high school. You get the guy that drives cars. That's what you do. You have to figure this shit out. So as I get all these kids into this thing, newspaper comes in, they do a big article, Lanphier High School infested with neo-Nazis now. And I got my own cable access television show. I went to cable access, signed up at Lincoln Land Community College. Lincoln Land, everything's fucking Lincoln. And I had my own cable access television show where I would preach about these beliefs. Everything for me as a skinhead leader was going great. Right, I'm tooting my own horn, I guess, now. But it wasn't, because I'm a fucking broken human being inside. I can't take when I think someone's disrespectful to me, real or imaginary. You gotta remember that, real or imaginary. How many times have you heard in high school, you came and fought a guy because you heard at a party 2 weeks ago, he might have said that he thought you were a dick. So now you're here fighting. Like, that's how we are. So I thought a guy was disrespectful to me, even though I didn't see it physically, heard about it, didn't like it, thought about it, festered in me, had a fucking resentment about it, kidnapped his ass. That's what I did. That's how I handled my business. That's how I made some of my money. I would hold your ass for ransom. That's what I try to do to this guy. I'm a broken fucking coward human being who does stuff like that. And so I hold him for ransom until Christmas, can't come out with the ransom money, just fucking let him go. Cops find out, they arrest me at the next taping of my TV show. For the first time, when you walked in the county jail, there was a yellow line. When they would always bring everyone to the same lockup at first, and you walk, and you make a left, and you go this way, that's where you want to go, because that's the fucking juvie unit, or you walk straight, you go to Big Boys. And that time when I'm walking in, they said, don't turn left, just keep going straight. And they charged me as an adult, and they should have. I was 17 years old, but I was charged with aggravated kidnapping with a firearm. Wound up sitting in this county jail. In the county jail, they had me in the hole for a long time just for my own protection. I was the youngest kid in the county jail. It's a huge county jail. It wasn't like fucking Mayberry here. So it's fucking huge county jail. And what they did is kept me in the hole. So like in the hole was like administration, punishment stuff. In the hole, you don't get to come out of your cell. You don't have no human contact because they're there. They think you might harm yourself or someone else might harm you. So I have no human contact, and I don't get to watch TV. You don't get to do nothing. You sit in your cell. Your visits, everything. Your visits, you're right outside your cell. You don't get to go walk anywhere. You go right there and go see your cell, your visits. Maybe once in a while I got a small visit. I had a girlfriend who's actually pregnant while I'm in prison. So I'm in this hole, and I used to read books. I like to read. I read every religious book you could think of as much as I could. There were always the thick books on the book card. It was the religious books. No one ripped them apart. All the other books were ripped apart. It fucking sucks to read a Louis L'Amour book, and fucking half the fucking 2 chapters are missing. It sucks. You have to make it up in your head. So I read the whole Book of Mormons, cover to cover. Don't know why. I did. Not a Mormon. I read it anyway. Read parts of the Quran. But I started reading the Bible again. And here's what I would do. I would say, yo, God. I'd hold the Bible, shut my hand. I'd do this prayer. I go, yo, God, if you're a real dude, you'll fucking kill all the guards, knock down my wall, and pop my fucking door and let me go home right now. Ready, God? 3, 2, 1. Oh, you're so fake. You're so fucking fake, God. And I throw the Bible down. Whatever page it fell open, that's what I read. And I'm going to get through this part real quick. I would read this because the funny part happened was, and this is where I talk about my higher power, my own understanding. So I start reading the Bible, and I read this part in the Bible that says, if you fast, don't eat, God will reveal himself to you. Right? God will reveal himself. I want God to kill all these motherfuckers for me. And I truly believe that in my head. So I start to fast. But it says at the bottom of the passage, it says, you cannot brag or boast that you're fasting for God. It's like you're like the asshole playing on the street corner. That's just what you deserve, that everyone knows you just pray on the street corner. Prayer is a fucking private thing. So when people say we should have prayer at school again, no, we shouldn't. If you go by the Bible, you shouldn't have a prayer at school at all. It's a private fucking event. But so is fasting. So it says, do not brag or boast that you're fasting for God. You've already received your reward. You're just the asshole playing on the street corner. So when they would come to feed me, they open up the little metal slot, they slide my food through, I slide it back out, and they say, are you not eating? And I say, yep, and they shut the door. They don't say, oh my God, Frank, it's really good today. You really might want to have the liver and onions. It's really good for you. Like they would just say, you say you're not going to eat? And they say, yeah, and they slam the door on me. 3 days goes by, and I'm doing that. The warden comes in on Sunday, pulls me out of my cell after I refused to eat dinner, and I was going to eat on Monday. I couldn't wait for fucking Monday. I was starving. So he pulls me out of my cell, and he gets me to sit down in the day room. I never sat down in this area. It's right outside my door. I never sat down in these benches my whole life because I only got to see them. He sits me down, and he says, well, why are you not eating? Are you trying to kill yourself? I said, no. So are you trying to harm yourself in any way? I said, no. Are you on a hunger strike? No. Why are you not eating? I can't tell you, but be prepared. Some shit's going down tomorrow. I'm getting the fuck out of here, all right? That's what I was like. So he just laughs it off and says, all right, dude, well, how about this, Mr. Meeink? I think you can handle yourself in general population. We have the honors blocks and shit. He's like, I can put you over there. You've been in here for 6 months. You haven't done anything wrong. This is where we put the bad, I'm going to let you go into general population if you eat tomorrow. Now, I'd already planned on eating, so I was like, okay, warden, sure. For you, definitely. Got you. Got your back. I'm going to eat tomorrow. But I already planned on it anyway. Puts me out in the general population next day, kept to his word. As soon as I ate my breakfast, came and got me. I go on this thing called the H block, which is like honors block. And there's this black kid on there right away I noticed who's really fucking loud. He's just loud all the time. Always got something to say about everything. One day I'm sitting by myself, really not talking to many people, and he comes over to me and he says, you know how to play spades? I said, no, I don't know how to play spades. I see you playing it, I don't know how to play it. He goes, let me teach you. He sits down and he doesn't teach me the game. He taught me how to cheat first at the game. He showed me how to cheat. He showed me about hand signs and how to come back and load clubs and do this. And like, he showed me all these little, which made me fucking learn the game faster and quicker, because I'm better if you teach me a fucking devious way. I'll learn it better. So what happened is we used to go around and play people in spades, and we'd take everybody's money because no one thought this Southside Chicago kid and this neo-Nazi were going to fucking team up and fucking have hand signs together. I get sentenced to 3 to 5 years upstate prison for aggravated kidnapping. He's waiting trial. Kind of becomes cool in county jail, but it wasn't like, oh my God, it's the lasting love of my life. It was just for fucking cool. You don't have gang affiliations in the county jail. I get upstate prison and all my gang stuff comes back, All the Aryans are waiting for me. I was a kid who had a TV show. They fucking treat me like a celebrity. I'm in there, and one day I walk back onto my cell block because we were doing something. Fuck, I can't get into that story. Story's too long. I walk back onto my cell block. I've been on this new prison for a couple weeks, and when I walk on, I hear fucking G's voice. And I can tell he's on the same tier. I hear him as I'm walking up the steps to my tier. And as I hear, I was like, that's fucking G. So I was like, what's up, G? So I see him, me and him are cool. It isn't like they make it in the movies or American History X where we don't ever talk to each other. We fucking always deal with each other. We have to. That's how you get shit around guards. You can't only do shit white way. You gotta do it everyone's way. So we always deal with each other, drugs, whatever. G sees me, we're like, what's up? We both work in the chow hall, so we talk to each other almost every day. I used to play football with the Aryans, and the Aryans is my gang, the white gang, the Aryans, so I'll say that a lot. So I used to play football with the Aryans. Well, these are bikers from central and southern Illinois. They could fix your transmission at 2 years old, fucking no lie. They don't know how to cradle a football. They don't know how to dribble. When you play basketball, because some days we owned the basketball courts. It was our day to have the basketball courts. You play with a bunch of bikers, as Chris Rock said, you let double dribbling go. You let traveling go with fucking bikers. Because they just run down the thing with the fucking ball, and they brick it up, and you're like, oh, what the fuck, dude? Like, pass it. And they don't know. They fucking lost it all the time. I just got tired because I know how to play the game right, and they don't play it right, and I fucking hated it. Same thing playing football. They fucking sucked. Big ogre be like, I'm tired of you, Frankie, because I've run all the touchdowns back, and I talk a lot of shit. And one day this biker guy goes, I'm going to fucking barrel you over when I get you. And I was like, all right, dude. And he comes running right at me when he had the ball one day. He was running, and I just fucking moved the other way, and I popped the ball out from behind and went and got the ball off him. Like, it's just dumb shit. One day, G was going to go play football on neutral day. Neutral day means no gang affiliations, own a certain yard. Usually Sundays was an unneutral day. I mean, it was a neutral day on a lot of the yards. Anyone can go to any yard they want. There's no gang war, no race war going on. Do whatever the fuck you want. So I went over to G, and they were going to go play football. It was all the black dudes from our squad, from our cell block. I was like, yo, tell them let me play. Old heads are like, no, fuck that Nazi. No, you got a fucking swastika on your neck. You ain't fucking playing for me. I'd be like, dude, let me play. I'm fucking good. And they go, oh, yeah, that's what every white boy says. Finally, G fucking, because G was a fucking shit talker, finally got them to admit that they should let me play. So, older guy said, yeah, you play. You can do kickoff returns, because nobody's going to fucking block. There's going to be a lot of missed assignments. So I get that first ball, and I'm running it, and I notice nobody's fucking blocking. Even G. Like, he was just kind of like, All the other team is fucking, all other black team is running right at me. And it works to my advantage, though, people. If you know sports or know football at all, this is like a screen pass. I only got to get past one line of defense because they're not being blocked. They're not staggered everywhere. They're all just coming right at me. All I got to do is find one fucking hole. And I'm going to fucking find that hole. So I go to where the big guy is, and as I run to the big guy who's about to tackle me, fucking put a sick little spin move on him. And when I do it, I reverse the ball to keep it fucking not to my opponent. Anyone who played the sport knows in a second, I fucking know what I'm doing. I started playing football from that day on because when I was running down the field for my first touchdown, my first play, I'm running as fucking hard as I can, as fast as I can. Nobody's fucking catching me because some dudes were talking about killing me and raping me when they caught me, so they ain't catching me. So I'm running, and there's this black kid on my team who becomes one of my other good friends. His name is Jello. And Joe was a different kind of cat. He's always business. But he was running behind me, and he just said to me, as he's running behind me, I'm like, block. And he's running. He goes, run, white boy, run. And I was like, fucking block, dude. The rape fucking behind you. And he didn't block for me. He just kept yelling at me, run, white boy. I get to the end zone. I throw the ball down like I've been there before. I don't want to do an over celebration. It's fucking prison. 20 minutes sometimes, celebrations. Fucking throw the ball down like that's what's up. And that black kid, Joe, who to this day says he was keeping up with me. He wasn't keeping up with me. He was about 2 legs behind me. He comes up to me and he goes, and I'm waiting for him again. I'm waiting for him to be like, good job, white boy. Because I'd never talked to Joe yet before. I've always heard him. He comes up to me and he puts his finger right in my fucking face. He goes, boy, you run scared. And I looked at him and I was just honest with him. I was like, I am scared. They're going to fucking kill me. I am scared. That's why they're not going to catch me. Nobody catches me when I'm scared. They made me a wide receiver from that play on. My name changed also. This is what's so funny about this. My name changed in prison. I was always known as Nazi boy, Aryan boy, Frank White, King of New York, just because I was Frank White. I was hung with the white guys and had an accent like from the East Coast. They gave me all types of nicknames. Finally, they gave me a nickname, and they just called me Steve. Just Steve, and it just fucking stuck. I'll be walking with all my Aryans every day, and black dudes be like, yo, what's up, Steve? And I'm like, yo, what's up? And they're like, why the fuck they calling you Steve? I'm like, I don't know, dude. It's just something they do. It's because of Steve Largent, a little white wide receiver. It's the only person they could match me up with, so they call me Steve. I had my daughter while I was in prison. Now, you talk to your older inmates. I had older inmates that were in my gang. I go to them and talk about my girl. And they'd be like, oh, my God, are your boys watching out for her? And I'd be like, yeah. And these are my guys that are under me in seniority in these groups. And I'd be like, talking to them, I'd be like, your boys watching out for her, right? And I'd be like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, they're watching her suck some dick. And I'd be like, why would you? Like, they would say that shit all the time, like just to be dicks, you know? And I hated it because I would think about it maybe for 3 days. Maybe she was. Because you're fucking nuts in prison, especially when you're doing time and you have a girl and a baby. When I had my daughter, I walk on my cell block, and I see all my Aryans. We're up on our second tier where we all would hang out. So I was about to yell out and be like, yo, I had my kid, be a proud, prison dad. And as I'm walking on, I didn't want to say, because as soon as I would have said something, someone was going to be like, oh, that girl's going to lose her baby weight. She's going to be looking good again. You better get the fuck out of here. I'm like, say something stupid. I just knew it, so I didn't say anything. And I seen G and Tony, our quarterback. They were walking, and they were going in G cell, and I just ran over to G cell. And I was like, yo, G. And now he knows that I'm going to have a baby on the way. I talk to this kid every day outside of sports. We just talk. Same thing with fucking Tony. I was cool enough with Tony. We talked about girls and shit and life. We were all the same age. We were 17-year-old kids in adult prison. With John Wayne Gacy, was in our same prison with us, who raped and killed boys our age. When I went over to the cell, I asked G, I said, yo, G, I have my kid. And he was like, well, come in. So I went in the cell. And he was doing something, and Tony was sitting on the bed, and he said, what happened? I said, they let me have a free phone call. I called my girl. We had our kid. It was a fucking God thing. And the next thing he says is a fucking God thing. He doesn't ask me anything stupid or crazy. He just goes, did she tell you what she looked like? Did she tell you what she looked like? And I'm like, yeah, my daughter looks just like me. That's all she said. That's all I did ask. The only fucking question I did ask, what does she look like? And I was like, yeah, she said she looks just like me. And he's like, oh, that's what's up. That's all up. Wait a minute. So and this is the exact word. So you're going to say she's going to have your nose and your ears too? Oh, shit, you're going to worry about her dating then. And I was like, oh, fuck you, G. But it was just like, I know he meant it just to fucking make me laugh. When I got released from prison, I'm trying to be a good dad. I'm getting released. I'm cool with people in prison on both sides, but I'm not changing. Look, Aryan soldiers is what God planned on me being. What goes on in prison goes on in prison. I get out, I'm going right back to who I am, what I was doing, all the same shit. I'm still doing that shit in the pen. I get out, my daughter and the mother of my daughter don't want nothing to do with me. I'm a fucking criminal, I'm a thug, I'm a racist, ain't really got much prospects in life. Got a fucking swastika on my neck. So she doesn't want nothing to do with me, so I go back to Philadelphia. I go back to Philly, and my group is gigantic in Philadelphia now. and I have all the seniority in the world. I went to prison for kidnapping our rival, and I never fucking snitched on no one. I did what I was supposed to do. So I come back, I'm a fucking, I wouldn't say a legend, but I came back with a pretty fucking hard reputation, right? See if this thing will stay here. So, I wanted to keep my seniority ahead in this group. That's all I wanted. There was things that started happening, black, white issues, O.J. Simpson trials happening, learning about DNA. DNA is destroying my belief system of racism, about, we're all different. We're so different, this we should be told. We're so different that we get different diseases. Tay-Sachs, sickle cell, it's all different diseases, different races. It's prevalent in other diseases, other races. Huntington's disease, more prevalent in white people. This was what was always told to us. This was our definite, this is why we're different shit, right? So, DNA comes out, and I'm learning about it because of the O.J. Simpson trial. That motherfucker was guilty, by the way. And it starts destroying that frame of thought. But as I'm getting into this group and staying part of this group, I'm having feelings that things are different. But the one thing I wasn't was the Jews. That's where I kept that was my argument points. That was my PowerPoint presentation if I needed it. So when you're home with a conviction on your record, with a swastika on your neck, and skinhead written on your knuckles, you fill out a job application, these ain't good fucking people skills. It's just not. So if anyone gets your girlfriend's name or your boyfriend's name tattooed on your neck, don't fucking do it. For one, they're gonna break up with you next week because they now own you. And, it's just not good when you go for management positions if you have Shanika on your neck. It just don't work, it don't work. So listen, a guy comes up to me, a friend of mine, said he can get me a job because I could not find any work. He said, I can get you a job working at Cherry Hill, New Jersey Mall just for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He's like, you're carrying in and out antique furniture to antique show. He said, what you do, it's $100 a day. I said, fuck yeah, I'll take that job. I need a job. I haven't had any work since I got home from prison. He says, all right, I'll take that job. And as soon as I say I'll take the job, he goes, but the guy who owns the company is a Jew. Like, he's a Jew. And I was like, I don't care, I don't got to talk to this dude, do I? And Keith said, he goes, no, I told Keith Brookside all about you. He said, he doesn't give a shit what you believe, just don't break his fucking furniture. I showed up, and I made all this money in tips. And all this money in tips, I knew that he knew I made. So I thought in the end he was going to try and Jew me. He's going to come up to me, he's not going to give me my $300 he owes me, because he owed me $100 for each day. I made $600 in tips, he's going to say, you should give me money for letting you work here. That's what I'm thinking. We all have these arguments in our heads. Not about Jewish people, but you all have had this moment in your life where you hate somebody at school or hate somebody at work, and you're like, when I go in tomorrow, and that fucking damn Michael says that same dumb shit he says every week, you damn Cowboys fan, fucking dumbass, you always come around, you think about this one person, and he gets at your fucking core of you, and you think about him when you're at home, you think about Mike, who doesn't even give a shit about you, and you think, you know what, tomorrow, I'm going to school, and I'm going to tell fucking Mike off. And you think about it all day. I'm going to say this about Mike, because I know he kissed his cousin in 8th grade, incest motherfucker. Watch this, you have a whole argument planned out for this guy named Mike, and you think about it, you wake up in the middle of the night, oh, fucking Mike. Driving to school, fucking Mike. You get here, and you see Mike, you're like, what's up, Mike? He's still wearing a fucking Tony Romo jersey. He don't even wear a goddamn team. But you want to fight with him, and you see him, you're like, what's up, Mike? And Mike looks at you, and he's like, no, what's up, Frankie? I always go, nothing, man, it's all good, right? I had a resentment towards a man. Resentment is, I drink poison, I hope you fucking die. It never affected you in any way, shape, or form. So, he comes up to me to pay me on my last day. As he starts to pay me, I'm waiting for him to say he isn't going to give me my money. And he says, what do I owe you? I said, $300. He pounds out $300. He says, here you go. He goes, you make a lot of money in tips? I'm like, yeah, I did. Waiting for him to take money back. And he says, you know what, but you're a really good worker. Here's an extra $100. Made $1,000 in a weekend. As he drove home, he gave me a job. He said, I'll hire you full-time, you're a good worker. This man gave me a job, and he taught me all about the antique business. Now, we're going to cut a lot of this shit short, but I'm going to get on to the message before we go, and then we'll open it up. The message of all this is, and I wish I got more to it, but you can even hear it in prison. The only thing that's going to change us, racist people, isn't throwing bottles at us. It isn't going to a fucking rally and punching a redneck in the fucking face and going, I'm fighting racism. You fucking fighting racism? What you do is punching a fucking redneck in the face. You fight racism with empathy. You fight racism by being a fucking human being and asking them about other things. The more you came and people would come to our rallies and they throw bottles at us, I never ducked the bottle and thought, I better rethink my beliefs here. I thought I'm more dedicated than ever. And now I have a fucking enemy. And you're right in front of me. When empathy comes into play, it's the greatest human emotion ever given. There are only things that have it. Nothing else has it. Only thing that comes close is the elephant. No other creature on this planet has empathy. It's been given to us for a reason. It's the same reason why we also hate. So we got to find that. So open it up with that. So.
All right, let's give Frank a round of applause, please.